Hey gang, Drex here from DrexFactor.com, and today I'd love to talk a little bit about levels and level changes in dance. Some of us may already have done a bit of work when it comes to increasing our volume, but our audience can also perceive what the center of our motion happens to be. Even though I'm taking up quite a lot of room, do you see how my movement is still more or less centered around the same height? By contrast, I can change the height at which my movement is originating as well as going to. In the dance world, these are referred to as level changes, and today we're going to learn more about how to incorporate them into our own movement. Before we dive in, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Darkmonk, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can visit them all on the web by following the links down in the description of this video. Now, on with the show. So we're going to start off by learning how to get low with our spinning. It's really common for people to start off doing this by simply bending over at the waist. Unless there's a character-based reason for it, don't do this. You lose all your range of motion and capacity for interacting with the audience. Instead, try this out. Just bend your knees while keeping your upper body more or less oriented the same way it would be if you were standing up straight. This is called a plie, which means bend in French, and it's a cornerstone of just about every type of dance that there is. This sounds like a really simple movement, but it's actually way harder to get a feel for it than you might think. Try standing up against a wall and bending your knees while making sure that both your butt and your shoulder blades are still in contact with the wall. This is going to take some active engagement in areas that you might not otherwise use. Now, try it standing in the middle of a room. Once again, just bend your knees and try to keep your butt and shoulder blades up against that imaginary wall. Your heels, butt, and shoulder blades should all be on the same vertical line. An easy way to get into this is to simply relax the muscles on the front side of your lower legs and the bend will happen automatically. Try doing this with your feet together and both knees pointed forward, with your knees pointed away from each other, and with your legs apart. Eventually, you'll get a feel for how to do this as you're spinning your prop, and you'll see that something quite magical happens. See how it looks like my upper body is more or less upright this entire time? Let me show you what the rest of me is doing. Isn't that way more dynamic and engaging to watch? Of course, there is a catch to lowering your level, and that's that moves that worked while you were up higher may not work at all now. You'll have to experiment to find what moves work well when you're down low, and which ones don't. There's nothing wrong with throwing simpler tricks into your performance when it comes to level changes. Your audience will still appreciate them. You can also do groundwork with your props. This happens a lot more frequently with single or static props like hoops and contact staff, but it's also possible with poi and many other tools. I could do an entire video on groundwork, and probably will at some point, but I wanted to show off at least one option here. Tuck one foot underneath you and slowly descend your body above it. You should wind up with your upper body still fully engaged and erect with both knees bent. Now, move your hips over the tucked leg until you're sitting just to the side of it. Move your other leg over until you are sitting cross-legged. Take the leg you originally tucked under yourself and reach it over the other leg. Now move your hips over so that they're sitting directly above the tucked leg and move your head forward to be able to stand back up. This is way easier to do if you take it faster and make use of momentum. It allows you to move around a bit on the ground while keeping your hands free. You can do corkscrews, pendulums, any number of tricks with this ground roll. So we've talked about going down low. Now what about up high? It's not hugely common in the flow world, but jumps are a great way to elevate the dynamics of a performance. Depending upon your level of proficiency with acrobatics, you can also try cartwheels, tours jetés, barrel rolls, flips, aerials, and many more. Here's an exercise I frequently give to my students. For 2 minutes, put on a piece of music and simply move to it. Take some video and see what you think. Now, put on that same piece of music, but we're going to add one simple rule. You have to avoid that middle level that's kind of home base for poi spinners. You're allowed to get low and high and on the ground, but not stay at that middle level at all. This is a huge challenge, not just in terms of the tricks that you have to work with, but also because it requires vastly more energy than simply staying at the same level the entire time. But it also looks so much more engaging. Try incorporating more level changes into your spinning and choreography, and I guarantee you'll find you get a much better response from your audiences. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the flow. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to see when I post something new. Peace. Hey there, thanks so much for watching my video. If you got anything out of it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to help it grow. Special thanks to all of my wonderful backers on Patreon. You guys are the ones that make these videos possible. If you're not a current backer and would like to sign up to support my channel, please visit patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. Thanks so much in advance.